Welcome to RE Uncut. Our daily shows are supported by Printforce, Sure Agents, Rockend and CoreLogic.
Hello once again, returning with our guest for this week, Doug Driscoll from Star Partners. And yesterday in the show we spoke about controlling the controllables, the things you can control and how you react to them. What should you be doing about the things that you can't control, over which we have no input? It just seems to happen to us. That's what I'll discuss today with Doug Driscoll. Back in just a moment.
Outsourcing will dramatically improve your productivity and profitability. Sure Agents have created a staffing solution to provide great staff who can perform duties in property management, sales, marketing and administration, and at a fraction of the cost, giving you and the team more time to spend on the dollar productive tasks. With rising costs and slowing revenue, the focus must be on value for money. Check it out, sureagents.com.
Doug Driscoll, my guest from Star Partners all this week, and we've called this one the end game because we're very much focusing on getting into perspective where we are now, but what's going to happen in 6-12 months' time when we come through this, and we will come through with it. Doug, welcome to the show once again. Thanks for your time.
No, thank you for yours, Kevin.
Let's talk about some of the uncontrollables, the things, legislation the government may bring out, its impact on unemployment, people now not working, they're getting a wage subsidy, and in some cases a very big reduction in wage. How should we be adapting to that? And I want to talk to you about that and also the eviction moratorium, but let's deal with unemployment firstly.
Well, certainly, as you just alluded to, it is an uncontrollable. It is an inevitable fate for a lot of people, and thus it's an inevitable fate for our industry. We have to adapt. We have no alternative. It was Charles Darwin that said that it's not the strongest of the species that survive, it's those that are best able to adapt. And that's where we find ourselves at this moment in time. But if we look at the rising unemployment rate, it is having a direct impact already on our industry. First and foremost, obviously, through people reaching out for rent relief. To give you an idea, as we speak today, we actually as a group now are seeing approximately 3 to 4% of our tenants already reaching out, obviously through hardship. So it's obviously how we deal with that and how we handle that. Now, we've kind of already unpacked this particular instance well in advance, and we've tried to get ahead of it wherever possible. Obviously, the problem we've got is that some of these people are legitimate and others are obviously misinterpreted some of the directives from the government, and then there are others who are just, quite frankly, taking the piss and just trying to get out of paying their rent altogether when they're not facing any hardship at all. So actually having processes around that, robust processes, thorough processes is really, really important. Also open communication. We're communicating with absolutely anyone and everyone at the moment, but primarily obviously our clients, our landlords, and we're letting them know that we've got a plan of action. Now we're not providing kind of guarantees, but we are providing them with reassurance. But as long as we're open and frequent with our communication, I think they'll cut us some slack because they know that we're doing our best. So obviously at the moment, I believe this to be early days. At the moment, I think this is going to only escalate, unfortunately, and we certainly are far from seeing the worst of it, but we're prepared as best we can be, and this is the key. So we're having the conversations with landlords around their options. They should be contacting their lenders, see what assistance is on offer. They should be contacting their insurance companies. We're providing details of people like the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, the Insurance Council of Australia. But what I will say by way of caveat, of course, is that we're providing them with options and not advice. So if anyone from ASIC is watching, we are obviously, of course, doing the right thing. The other interesting thing around this is that as we speak today, I think that the property managers across our industry are being burdened with this. All of a sudden, they now are the new negotiators. And I think they're being thrown under a bus, quite frankly. If you look at the skill set of a property manager, that is not their forte. Our view as a group, and certainly mine in particular, is that principals and senior salespeople who have a relationship with those landlords should be stepping up and stepping in. They should be in charge of those negotiations because that is their skill set. That is something they do every single day of the week. Now, not all property managers, obviously will be scared to have those conversations, but a lot of them will be. So I think that principals in particular need to do a lot of that heavy lifting. The analogy I used in my own group recently is that of a hostage situation that you'd often see on a Hollywood film. If you think about it, when you've got someone being held hostage in New York, you've got the FBI there, the CIA, New York's finest. But what do they then do? They bring in an expert, do they not? They bring in the master negotiator to negotiate the hostage situation. Unusual analogy, I know, but as I said, that is what we need to be doing as businesses. We need to be bringing in the master negotiators, because ultimately we want to retain the business. Ultimately, we want to serve our clients as best we can, and actually, in challenging times, still obviously get them the very best outcome possible.
Obviously, Doug, there are going to be some casualties to all of this, and I hate to say it, but it's inevitable that there will be some offices closed. Lots of people will leave the industry because they maybe have to. What do you see as can you see some unforeseen, if you can use that terminology, hurdles that we're going to have to overcome?
An oxymoron, that is, yeah. Can I see the unforeseen? No, I can't. No, I haven't got a crystal ball.
But what about, is there anything that you think we should be wary about? Or is this a time for us to be looking for opportunities? I mean, there could be some wonderful merger opportunities. If you've got a strong business, you might want to merge with someone else in your area.
And that's a really good point. And I think it really comes down to mindset, kind of how positive are you, and being alert and awake to the situation. In adversity does come opportunity, and there will be, unfortunately, a lot of casualties along the way. And that is widespread throughout society, of course. But if we're just looking through the lens of real estate, you're absolutely right. If you've got the cash or the capital in order to actually, or the borrowing capacity to buy another business or merge or amalgamate, then now could well be the time, or certainly in the coming weeks anyway. So I do think there's genuine opportunity. But the problem is, as you just alluded to, is the unknown, the unforeseen. What we don't know is just how difficult this is going to get. We're getting a clear idea or understanding, but typically people in these kind of scenarios will sit on their hand and wait for this to pass. I am somebody who unenviably had to go through the financial crisis of 07-08 whilst working in the UK, and it was a real interesting study on human behaviour and human emotion, and more often than not, people, as I said, they do sit on their hands and they do nothing at all. And that's not just real estate business owners. That's a community and society as a whole.
Doug, thanks for your time. I want to talk to you about leaders and their role in all of this. What should they be doing? What antenna should they have out, and what should they be looking for? That's tomorrow when Doug Driscoll from Star Partners comes back as we look at the end game. What should leaders be doing right now? Doug, thanks again for your time. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Kevin.
The daily RE Uncut shows are supported by Printforce, Shore Agents, Rock End and CoreLogic. RE Uncut is one of the anchor shows at retplus.com, the home of property.